This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning to everybody, and welcome to a lovely little drizzly Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands here in South Africa, where we are watching a pair of blacksmith lapwings around the little pan. And they seem to be very chatty this morning as they're walking around looking for some food, hoping for insects in the grass, I'm sure, as the rain is picking up. My name is Tessa. I'm going to be your guide on safari here this morning. Behind the camera is Gert, and we have got some very cool plans today. So we've started with our little blacksmith lapwings, which seem to be moving quite quickly through this open grass area. They have also been feeding on a bit of old elephant dung, I think looking for insects that might be in there. And what we've been doing is actually tracking some lions. So we could hear lions roaring last night from probably around 8:30 actually they started, and it got closer and closer and closer, and it sounded like possibly two different lions chatting, one in the north, one in the south. And probably by about 11:30 it sounded like they were right next to the dam. And yes, a dam cam update. It sounds like Mohawk walked past the dam, Gowrie Dam, in front of camp and headed south. So that's what myself and Gert are going to be doing this morning. Once we leave our little pair of blacksmith lapwings, we're going to be heading over towards Gowrie Dam. I'm going to take Mvubu Road, one of my favorite roads, and go and see if we can find the lions. Now, we do have quite a bit of rain this morning. It's quite cool. I'd say it's just under 20 or so degrees Celsius at the moment. It is going to get a bit hotter. But with the weather the way it is this morning, with a little bit of rain, I'm hoping that means that the lions might still be moving. The tracks did look very, very fresh. So if you have any questions or comments, please do let us know. You can get hold of us at #WildEarth on Twitter. If you're under the age of 18, pop us an email on kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Or you can register on the WildEarth website, head over to the channel page and submit your questions there. Myself, Lauren, and JP will be looking forward to hearing from you. I can't get my words out. It's too early in the morning, everybody. Mark, good morning. I think, yes, it is certainly time to have a fantastic bumble. And I'm looking forward to seeing what might be around the dam and what might have gone south from there, because it certainly sounds like the lions have been very, very active during the night. So I'm going to be tracking them as much as I can this morning. We are also hoping, because it is nice and cool, maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, hello, lion tracks. Maybe we'll get lucky and find a few elephants as well. I'm definitely hoping for that. The rain is starting to pick up already. So I'm sure just now you're going to see me with all the covers on. I've already covered my monitor. I've put on a jacket, covered the front of the car. All the good things that we need to do when it starts raining a little bit harder. And I do have a feeling, I think our rain is supposed to be coming through the majority of the day today. And again, just a nice light drizzle. So this is actually better for us than the very hard rain, because this tends to sink in a lot better for the plants and it doesn't wash everything away especially after so much rain for the last week. But while I'm talking about all of that, let's actually have a look at what our weather is doing for the morning while myself and Gert head towards the dam.
morning, good morning. It is raining, everybody. Raining in Juma. It's a sort of constant drizzle rain. Doesn't look like much, but actually, we've been sitting here for a few minutes now and we're getting quite wet. So I don't think we're going to go very far today until this goes off. Maybe explore quarantine, Western Edge. I don't know. I'm also extremely cold. This is not summer. But good morning, my name is Lauren and I do have Owen on camera. And we are just waiting to see exactly what is going to happen with this rain. The skies are extremely grey and heavy, with the promise of moisture, of course, which is good for the land. I'm not complaining about that at all. For the first time this stint, I've actually got a blanket on me. It's really quite chilly. So I think we will just do quarantine exploration for now. Don't see a single impala. I don't see much. When quarantine's quiet, well, that tells you possibly there was predator action last night. I know one of the avocas arrived last night at some point, but I wonder what else has happened since midnight. The rains are a blessing, of course. And already I'm seeing the insects flourishing. Sandy, you're saying you hope we are warm. No, I'm not. I don't know about Owen. It is a really chilly morning for summer, And yes, we will try and get through it if it doesn't get any heavier, which of course I'm hoping not. You can see those big grey clouds to the north of us.
Morning station, stadium over.
Owen's just going to pull down the flaps. You manage, Owen? Okay. Oh! That's a bungee cable. It's amazing what little light we have to work with, and it's amazing how your eyes just struggle. I know quarantine like the back of my hand. I run it, I walk it, I drive it every single day, multiple times a day for many, many years. But it's amazing how your eyes just struggle when there's low light like this. But do send in your questions. I have a funny feeling today is going to be one of those days. Sorry, FC. Is that coming from the camera?
Yeah, it's coming from FC.
Okay, there's a crazy noise coming from the radio, FC. Okay, we're going to ever so slowly inch our way around quarantine and hopefully this rain goes off.
So we have got the kind of morning at the moment where we're having to cover a bit of the camera. We've got quite a lot of rain coming in. I'm sure you can see. I can't really see at the moment where we are. And that's because the rain that's coming down is now, yes, it's a drizzle, but it's a lot more intense. So it's almost like a fine mist on everything. We've covered everything up. Trying to keep everything a little bit dry. And I'm headed down towards Gowrie Dam. Tracks of the lines coming down this way. Nice dam cam update to back me up there. And that is exactly what I will be doing. We're actually going to need to put our little camera apron on just now. Of quite a cute little camera cover actually. But it is quite a lovely morning. Other than the intense rain, it's actually rather pleasant, especially with temperature. It's nice and cool. I know Lauren is saying it's a very cool day for a summer's day for January. I think this whole time I've been here, it's been either scorching hot or very cold. There's been no in between. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. Going into one of my favorite dips and drainage lines here on Mvubu Road. I don't know why I love this one so much. I think it's got to do with the Tambweti forest actually. Nice little Tambweti thicket. Always a good place for elephants. As we're driving, I'm just scanning kind of under the brush, through the grass, just looking for any little bits of movement, but it sounds like from the dam cam update they went a bit further south on Twin Dams Road. So I'm going to do a quick check on the dam wall just to make sure that there's nothing at the dam, and then I'm going to go straight down towards Twin Dams Road, see if I can find the tracks, because with the movements that we've had of the lions in the last while, it has been very interesting. We've had almost a bit of a switch over again. I know Lauren and I were chatting about it a bit last night. And I mean, we're always chatting after drive, but you know, it's interesting. We've got slightly different perspectives on the lions, if that makes sense, because historically Nkuhumas have been on Juma. That's just where they've been, and then all of a sudden the Talamati started coming in and the Nkuhumas were pushing further south. Now it seems to be switching again a bit. It seems like we've got Nkuhumas more on Juma and the Talamatis pushing west. So it has been very interesting to note the differences, because when I got here the Talamatis were the main pride on Juma and the Nkuhumas were still pushing further south, and now we're seeing that change over. But it sounds like it was Mohawk, so one of the evokers from the Nkuhumas, that walked past Dam Cam last night, which is just in front of me, and walked down towards Twin Dams Road. So that is what I'm going to be following, and I'm sure it was him and possibly Blondie that were chatting to each other last night, because we could hear two lines. So to give you a perspective of where I am, one set of lines I could hear was down to my left hand side at the back here, and the one set was up to my right hand side in front. So I was hearing two different lines, and this one was getting closer and closer. I heard it at the dam and then moving along. So that's why we're here this morning, just to have a quick check of if there is anything around the dam, and then from here I'm going to be heading south to look for tracks. It's amazing how it is much more pleasant when you stop driving with the rain. Giraffe girl, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I do hope that I managed to find the lions this morning. It will be very rewarding, because as soon as I could hear them calling and getting closer last night, I started getting excited, thinking I know exactly what I'm doing tomorrow morning. I need to go look for those lions. Oh, there's an arrow-marked babbler that is calling away at the moment. It is very nice and peaceful here at Gowrie Dam this morning. It doesn't seem like there's much life, and I think it's because the rain has become more intense now. So what that means is the normal things we'd see around here, even some of the birds, are going to be hiding. The Egyptian goose family is going to be tucked away somewhere to keep the little ones dry. The impalas and all of those animals are going to be somewhere up on quarantine, staying safe, so that they're in a big open area and can see further on a day like today when the lions would be more active. But it doesn't even look like the hippos here at the moment. But what a beautiful place to spend a bit of the morning. You can hear a lot of different bird calls. Okay, so what I'm going to do is head down Twin Dams Road, see if I can find those tracks. Wish me luck, everybody. And in the meantime, we'll head over to Lauren to see what she's up to.
I'm on my way to try and get a surprise for you all. Hopefully the rain does not get any heavier. That's all I can say. We can handle it as is. And then hopefully I'll be able to get a little surprise for you all. But it's a bit of a bit away on Chitwa. So we just let Chitwa enjoy the sighting first. We check our own property and then we'll enter into Chitwa. So I shall say no more. Owen is currently busy putting down all the flaps. Are you nice and warm there, Owen?
No.
No. Oh, are you dry?
Wet and miserable.
Oh, okay. Wet and miserable. Copy. Yes, it is. But it is good weather for the animals to be mobile, actually, because it is cold. I didn't bring warm clothes because I thought I'm going into the heart of summer. Samantha, you like surprises. Well, I hope I can pull this one off. But as I mentioned, it's a respect thing that we're not going to bombard into Chitwa right now. We'll give them some time and then we'll see what's on our property. See if we come across anything. We had the most fantastic hyena den sighting yesterday. Really, it was... been waiting for that. The usual suspects, Hart, Swaz, and Ndebele. But... oh, it was wonderful. Those cubs are getting naughty now. They discovered the tire for the first time. I mean, I've never seen them approach my car before. And I'm there pretty regularly. But it was the first time that they obviously thought, aha, you can bite tires and they just feel great. And now that they've discovered it, I can assure you it will be a daily event. But they're getting confident, and that's what I love about following the story. I obviously missed a big chunk. I was away for 7 weeks, but when you follow animals like this, especially youngsters, you can really follow their journey, their learning curves, their explorations, their trials and triumphs, and everything that they do. And yesterday they put their nose on the tire like this, then went back, then put their nose, then went back, and then they got their teeth on it. And then they realized this is just the best thing ever. Why have we been chewing sticks when we have 4 tires? Well, there is actually 5, but you know, they can't reach the spare tire. I need little window wipers for my face here. Hello, Impala. Are you all alone? Why is that? Does not seem to be minding the rain at all. Probably quite enjoying it. And again, animals just go about their business in rain. They're not going to really change their behavior unless it's a torrential downpour that maybe hurts the skin a little bit, but there's nowhere to go. And Owen, can I just get you to show this dashboard? So it is just a drizzle, but what happens over time is, look how soaking wet this is. It's all starting to puddle. So after a while, drizzle can actually waterlog your car because it's constant. Even though it doesn't feel like much, it doesn't feel as heavy as torrential downpour. This dashboard is now soaking. I will have to get that cover on. It's the same for the animals. Either way, they're going to get wet. This boy's more concerned with the delicious grass than anything else. Excuse me, everyone. I'm just putting this cover on. Okay. Ready, Owen?
Got the cover on as well.
Okay. Copy. Need to wrap myself in the blanket. Cocoon oneself. Okay, I'm just going to pass Owen his cover and then hopefully we're going to make it to Chitwa.
Okay, I am now bumbling down Twin Dams Road, and very soon I just want to stop and have another listen. I don't want to miss anything. It does seem like his tracks are going straight down the road, which is really handy for me because then I know he's used the path of least resistance. He's trying to cover some distance. And he moved through between say 10:30 and 11 last night. At about 11 I could hear him just on the other side of the dam walking south, getting further and further away. He's definitely been coming down here. Interestingly enough, we've already seen 2 scrub hares this morning, so with this dark, overcast, cool weather, they have definitely been more active. I'm actually going to stop very, very soon. I just want to listen because I'm on the edge of the drainage line. I don't want to miss anything that might be down here in case he did stop and not go all the way south. Oh, hello, scrub hare. Good morning. It does look a little bit nervous, but you can imagine why on a rainy day. Not so keen to go into the long grass, which is why they're sticking to the roads. This is very cute. I wonder where you're going to go today, scrub hare. So normally scrub hares would be fast asleep by now, but this one definitely seems to be quite active. Sorry, you will hear me rattling around a little bit. Oh, there it goes, not that one. It's definitely been one of those mornings where everything seems to be out still from the nocturnals. That was a lucky find. I'm glad that it sat in the road for a bit. I'm actually going to stay here a little bit longer and just listen though, because we are so close to the drainage line. Maybe we'll get lucky and hear something in there.
So we're still bumbling slowly south. It is remarkably quiet, like Tessa was saying. Oh, it's the first bird. I don't know what it is. Sorry, there's not enough light for me to pick out. A dove. But otherwise quiet. Com's just bombed out there, but I think, Demi, you're asking, is some rain something for some animals and not for others? Did yours also drop?
The advantage is for some and not for others.
What animals is it not an advantage to, Demi? We get a lot of questions about rain. What do they do? Where do they go? Do they come out? You saw that impala. It's heavier than it looks today, and it's rain is weather. So I come from Scotland, where it's very, very, very rainy, and you just deal with the rain. You put up a brolly, or you put on a rain jacket, or you stay indoors. Rain is not bad in any way, shape, or form. I don't enjoy driving in it because I'm a pampered human, but it's not bad. It's not disadvantaged to any animal. I mean, the landscape here, the Lowveld, the way this system works is that summer can only really sort of flourish in the way that we know it from the rain. And it literally, the landscape here is almost like it's waiting on the rain, just waiting on that drop of moisture. And normally with the first rains, even if they're not that heavy, the entire terrain transforms. It's unbelievable. Yes, we need the heavier rains, but what I'm saying is even with the light rain, it transforms. And the vegetation grows, pans fill up, insect life just flourishes because they go through something called the great diapause. And a lot of insects are waiting in eggs, dormant, just to get the moisture that they need to flourish. So all of a sudden you've got this hubbub of life. You've got animals that travel, animals that migrate just for the delicious insect life here, just for the delicious vegetation. Rain is not a disadvantage to any organism. It's just rain. Yes, you get wet, absolutely. I'm definitely wet right now, but it's not a disadvantage. It's an advantage to everything, and I think animals will relish it. It's a bath. It's good for their skin and may wash away anything that's on their skin, any itchy, scratchy. Heavy rains can flush out mange, it can flush out parasites. It's just part of the natural ecological cycle. And it's really, really important to the land here, to this system. It wouldn't work without rain. But of course, we just complain because we like to complain. But 100%, it's not a disadvantage to any organism. When it gets heavy, I don't imagine they would all enjoy that. In this drizzle, life just goes on. The low ambient light is a disadvantage to humans, or at least me, my eyesight. But to most of the animals out here, it really won't be. Their eyes will be accustomed to low light conditions. And if any of you didn't see yesterday's drive, I drove into a golden orb web spider. Did you hear about that, Owen? You didn't hear? I would have thought the director would have told you. Yes, it landed in my car. She landed in my car. Ugh. It was very dramatic. We had to get a stick, a long one, Owen, to get her out. Okay, everyone, we're going to keep fighting through this rain to get to your surprise, but I believe JP wants to say good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Eco Training Pridelands. We're out and about and looking for lions this morning. We did find them very early, and actually we went straight back to where we found them. Unfortunately, since then they've moved. Now we're looking for tracks. So my name is JP LaRue, and behind the camera we've got Darby. So over all the rain that we experienced, the soil has actually been quite compacted and making it incredibly hard to actually locate on tracks. So what we've been doing, as we got to the point where we left our lions earlier this morning, we just started working the blocks to see that they haven't gone out of that block. So from there, sometimes it's always best just to go back to that point and just try and see if you can move into the block. You never unnecessarily want to go and drive off-road after them, but if you know that they're somewhere in that block, it's actually worthwhile following up. One of the things that you don't want to really do when the grass is incredibly tall as it is at the moment is try and walk in here, because that's the quickest way of actually walking into lions and without actually them seeing you and then startling them at close range. That's quite often when you do startle them at close range that they will actually react and potentially charge you. In general, if they do see you on foot and you're coming from a distance, they tend to actually run away from you in daytime. For us, the tracks are actually very important because it's the way that we actually normally find them. But we're going to have to have a little bit more luck on our side this morning. As I say, a troop of baboons that we found that was moving into this direction. And potentially they're going to find our lions for us as well. And thank you very much for everybody that's keeping fingers crossed for us. We really hope that we're going to find them quickly. A few little techniques which you can use if you are looking for animals. Scan down the road and then start scanning as if you're using a clock. And what you do is you just use it from the opposite way of that you would normally use a clock when it comes to scanning. And you try and scan at a 45-degree angle. I'll explain to that. It seems if Tessa has got something else on the go, and then I'll explain that method of scanning a little bit later. In the meanwhile, let's go and see what Tessa is up to.
Oh, I'm so happy that JP is also looking for lions. How lucky am I today? So I have got some more lion tracks. We've been following it. It looks like lion tracks and hyena tracks, however, which is pretty normal, considering that they're going to want to follow the scent of the lions. And it definitely still looks like we're going south straight towards the boundary. I'm actually just north of Twin Dams at the moment. So what I'm thinking is from here, Mohawk has gone out over Gowrie Main, down over Gowrie Main and towards the other boundary. But yes, we've definitely still got some tracks. And it looks as though it might be an interesting morning because if they have crossed south, they've gone into Little Gowrie. So then my plan will have to change. I know Lauren is going to be going a little bit further east, so I'm going to go a little bit further west on Gowrie Main and check towards Triple M, Treehouse Dam, in case maybe the Nkuhumas have come back up. But I love it when you can kind of follow the storyline of piecing it together, hearing one lion calling in the south last night, one in the north, and then finding tracks, hearing that there's a dam cam update that he actually was where I thought he was based on hearing him. And then you get to follow it and put the story together. I was actually just chatting to Gert saying, it's so much fun when you can track an animal and you're patient enough and you can find it. But the problem on a day like today is when you wear glasses, you can't really see through much to them. Too much through them, through much to them. So you can see I'm not really seeing much through my glasses at this stage. But when we're also driving at speed, if I take them off, which I've been doing for a few minutes at a time, then I start getting the rain straight into my eyes. And that makes my allergies go. It's like this vicious cycle. Oh my goodness, my human qualities coming out to everybody, the weaknesses. But it's okay. I know some of you are allergy prone as well. Ooh, Stephen, that's actually a tough question. I think if it's cool weather without the rain, then that is my favorite, to track animals. But, you know, I'm actually going to stop this so we can listen. Tracking in the heat is actually also, it can be an advantage. So I'm just checking kind of the taller trees around us. It can be an advantage tracking in the heat because you know the animal will have stopped at some point because it got too hot, and so you know you're never too far behind. But when you're tracking in the cool weather, the animals could very well still be moving, and so you might be constantly 2, 3, 4, 5 hours behind, as opposed to in the heat where you started off 5 hours behind and you found them pretty quickly. But the nice part about the cool weather, even if they are still moving, is that it's a really good challenge because you can then interpret a bit more of their movements, where they might be going, what they might be doing, and use that to find them. And I think it's a lot more rewarding and fun. So that for me is definitely my favorite. So it really does depend. Especially in the rain that we've got at the moment, this makes it a little bit more unpleasant because the tracks are washing away as we're sitting here. You can see it's like a sheet of mist in the background. Oh wow, that is a beautiful spiderweb. Well spotted, Gert. Oh, have a look at that rain, everybody. Isn't that beautiful? We've gotten very, very lucky with that. I love how you can actually see the little drops on the spiderweb on each little section. Blowing in a very light breeze. But you can imagine with rain like that, I mean, goodness gracious, our tracks are blowing away. Hannah, actually, yes. We do see quite a few rain spiders, and actually where I grew up in Queenstown, that was probably one of the most common spiders that we had, and that's unfortunate because my whole family, I'm not going to lie to you, my whole family is pretty terrified of creepy crawlies. I think I'm the only one that actually enjoys it, but more the insects than the spiders. Now I'm much better with the spiders, but we used to have massive amounts of rain spiders and some baboon spiders that we used to have in our house all the time. And I can tell you right now, it was always an interesting situation because you'd hear either my brother or my mom screaming and everyone would come running and it would be a rain spider just casually coming down the passageway. But here, yes, we do see quite a few rain spiders. They're actually quite big, but they're fairly harmless. They're not going to do anything to you unless you threaten them. So we do see quite a few of the bigger ones. See, now the bigger ones I'm okay with. If I can see a rain spider at a distance, if I can see a baboon spider at a distance, then I'm alright. Or, you know, even a golden orb on a big web, I'll be okay with that. But the small ones that move very quickly, I still get a little bit nervous of now and then. And somehow I always end up with them on my hat. So I know Lauren was chatting yesterday, I think it was yesterday, when she got a spider web in her face, a big spider. I had a very similar experience when I was at Ngala, where we were following, it was still at the time Black Dam female when she was alive, and that would be Makoti's mother, and we were following her with Makoti and his brother. And we were very slowly kind of off-roading, just weaving around some of the bush willows and guaris, and the leopard changed direction, so myself and the tracker were looking kind of off to the side as I was coming around a guari and just kind of checking where she'd gone into the thicket so we could reposition again and change our direction. And as I came around the front of the guari, I looked up and it was too late and I had the spiderweb in my face. And I ended up with a golden orb spider literally on my face, and she was probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen, if I can give you an indication. She was probably that big with her legs, and she was literally over my face. And there was nothing I could do. I had my guests behind me, I had my tracker, and I had a spider on my face. And I had to pretend that I was very cool with the situation, that everything was fine. On the inside, I could feel myself squirming. I felt like I was going to have a heart attack and die. But anyway, she slowly kind of crawled down my front and then disappeared under my seat, which made me panic even more because then I couldn't see her anymore. So it took quite a lot of coaxing for me to actually get her out of the car with my cap. But I will never forget driving face first into a golden orb spider. It's also the first spider that ever converted me into a total acrobat on the ground. I felt like I was a gymnast when I was walking through the bush. When I was much younger, I think I was 18, it was for my 18th birthday. And I had some friends out on the property, on the farm. And walking along the banks of the river, and walked flat into another golden orb spider's web. And I did a bit of a backflip and landed on my bum about 5 meters behind me. Somehow I covered that distance. That was before I was a bit more comfortable with him. So we've had our fair share of incidents with spiders over here. I actually had a very nice one in my rain roof yesterday when I was drying it out. Oh, It's actually a beautiful morning. Okay, so I'm not seeing much around here. I'm not hearing much other than the beautiful birds. I know Lauren is going along the eastern boundary. So I'm actually going to start going west from here. I'm going to go and check Treehouse Dam, Triple M, and check on that side in case the lions have decided to cross that way.
I am so wet right now, everybody, but we are slowly driving into another property. We're soon going to be in a sighting. So I do just need to keep this radio on. You missed your call, and it's, well, you've missed your call. We are going to pull up here and just give you some views of the extremely wet morning. Look at that. The sky just melts in with the landscape here. You can barely pick out where they meet. Where's the horizon?
Tricky. She was in a nice spot, but then she literally just got up and went into the thickets of the senior. So you can, anyway. I won't be long, then you can take my spot.
Welcome back to Eco Training Pride Lands. We're still out and about looking for our lions, and as promised, I'll quickly explain to you a few techniques which you can use to actually find animals. So one of those techniques is always scanning on the ground to see if there's any tracks that you can find. The second is an observation technique where you look directly in front of you and you pretend that that point the closest to you on the ground is 6 o'clock, and from there you start scanning towards your 3 and eventually 12 o'clock and back towards 9 o'clock. The point from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock is a fairly slow process, and that actually tricks your brain in taking in the maximum amount of detail, as opposed to when you are reading, where you are reading from left to right, you actually tend to move very quickly. We also try and scan at angles of 45 degrees and no more, because then you tend to actually overcompensate and miss things. So the point at 12 o'clock will eventually become your next 6 o'clock, and you'll complete that whole little circle. We also teach ourselves not to just look at the closest point, because your brain is often focused on the closest possible point to you, but actually to look through the vegetation, and that's quite often when you see things in the distance. We also use a few other techniques where we'll scan in open areas, generally from our right towards our left as well, as it's a slow process, and you can use your binoculars when you are doing so, see if you can find anything. And then we also use our ears, because hearing is also equally important in terms of locating animals. And quite often on a cool day like this, there's a good possibility that they still try and might communicate with one another. We we also will find that there's a number of other animal species which potentially can alarm call if they do find the lions, and that also might indicate the right direction for us. So what we've done so far is worked the same block where we have found them. We've driven around that block, and then we just started searching a bigger area by using the road network. And it seems that they're somewhere inside this block over here. And we're just going to continue. We've now also got a second vehicle that came to help us. Teamwork is always great when when you are trying to find animals. But let's get going and let's see if we can find them. While we're driving, a few other techniques which you can also use when you are looking for animals. There's on incredibly warm days, start looking in the shaded areas. In incredibly cool days, any spot with a little bit of sunshine is a very good start on a cold morning. And we can see impala right over here, which is still incredibly relaxed. And that possibly indicates that there's no predator in the area, or that he simply hasn't spotted the predators yet. Quite often, if they do see predators, they actually will have a fixed stare into that direction. And you'll also notice that they will quite often start snorting and alarming, and that is a good indication that there might be something in the area. But as mentioned, this guy is entirely relaxed at the moment. Actually looking at us, some of the animals that I do like using in my favor for pointing out predators is animals such as zebra and giraffe, which has got incredibly keen eyesight. Good morning, Dana, and welcome to the show, and it's definitely so. We're just going to drive and see if we can find them. It's still cool, and the chances that they're going to continue walking is actually pretty good. If this was a typical summer's day and it was warm and the sun was high up already, they most likely would have been resting, trying to conserve every little bit of energy that they can use it in the later part of the day, as heat tends to rob lions from all their energy, and that's one of the reasons why they're actually night active. Also, there's a slight breeze which continuously pushes up in intensity and becomes a little bit of a gust, which is brilliant for them because they can use this in their favor to hide themselves from potential prey animals. Both it muffles the sound as if they're moving, but also it makes it harder for the prey species to smell them. And quite often when they do is they will walk diagonally with the direction of the wind until they smell something, and then from there on move into the direction of the prey animal that they do smell. I also find it amazing how incredibly good their eyesight is when it comes to spotting things. Quite often I have been following lions in the past, and you'll see them watching something in the distance and you absolutely see nothing. And the very next moment you start seeing them moving into that direction, and sometimes you're lucky, you actually end up seeing them making a kill. But in the meanwhile, let's go and see what Tessa is up to.
I am definitely still hoping for the same. I am bumbling west along Gari Main towards Triple M. I'm now kind of between Twin Dams and Treehouse Dam, and we have had tracks of the lions crossing south, so crossing over the boundary, which is a bit unfortunate because we can't traverse here. But I do want to just check along the boundary and see if they're not coming back. We've also seen a lot of hyena activity, but the most interesting thing for me is there were fresh buffalo tracks going in as well, so I'm wondering if they are following those buffaloes. Please do excuse my sniffing, everybody. I hate it. It drives me insane when I'm broadcasting to everybody and I'm sniffing, but unfortunately I am human. As much as I hate to admit that weakness, I am human. And these allergies are getting us. So we were actually just saying We were watching the bonnet of the car and noticing that all of a sudden there's streams of water going down Rusty's bonnet. Especially every time I brake, it's like this waterfall of water comes down there. So we are starting to pool up quite a bit. And so we're just going to have to monitor it from here and just see how it goes. It is quite a thick, consistent rain. And I'm having a look at my little cover here. It's like an apron that covers over the radios. I don't know if you'll actually be able to see that. That's actually a good way to show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see that properly. We've had to cover everything. But it's just a pool of water in here. So I'm very nervous that that's about to start going through to the radios. I've already emptied it twice. We are going to keep checking for now. I want to go past Treehouse Dam and have a look there quickly. Just to see if there might be anything. Joanna, thank you. I appreciate it. I had to pretend I wasn't crying, but I'm pretty sure there were the odd tears every now and then streaming. But you know, you got to be, you're human in front of guests, but you also got to try and be brave, because if you panic, they're going to panic. They take it off of you. So it was one of those situations where you kind of go, okay, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts. Got to make this work until I can get it off my face and off my car. Well, afterwards we did have a good laugh at least, but it did take a while. It took a while for me to warm up. But I'm telling you, the amount of experiences that you have living in the bush, you know, it's things that you wouldn't really get anywhere else, and that's part of the magic of it, you know. Where else am I going to go that I'm going to get a massive spider in my face? Now it's one of the best stories, you know. Didn't feel like it at the time, but now I love it. It works the same way with anything, you know, bumping into an animal or anything like that. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a stream of water down my chest. Oh no. Oh no, my apron has vacated. Oh no. I'll have to start moving that equipment to try and get it out of the puddle. We're accumulating a puddle, everybody. A puddle. Okay, well, I've got some hyena tracks, but no lion tracks yet for now. I think what we are going to have to do, unfortunately, everybody, is we are going to have to put you onto some of our best memories, some repeats from the last little while, just until the rain calms down a bit, and once everything's dried out a bit, then we'll try and head back out for you. But it was lovely to be with you even for a short while, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Seems like they are up and going. They've started greeting one another, so I don't think it's going to be too long until they start moving.
On Zoe's Road, I'm approaching at Berenati in junction with Zoe.
Whew. I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's a lot of, it's almost like a squeaky toy, the noise that they make. So this is normally the greeting ceremony that they do before they go up and then start becoming active and moving around. So hopefully this is the beginning. All of them greeting one another. There are quite a few of them missing, but at least there's some action. Just guys, don't go behind the Tramad man. Let's just wait. Oh, there you see they're popping out on this side, and they might just pop in front of us. Oh, look at that. Sounds like some of the youngsters are being reprimanded for whatever reason. Going back there. Oh, there's a lot of dogs coming from a bunch of different directions. Ah, let's turn one on. Oh, I'm gonna come in front of us again. Oh, that's pretty cool. Gotta love the noises that they make. Let me just go forward. Don't know how much this is gonna help, but we're all running down the road. And they're going at quite a pace. These dogs really do need to know how to run. Okay, they're just in front of us. I'm just gonna pull to the side so that the cars behind us can have a view. Look at all those little heads popping up. So the ones in the middle, those are all the pups, as you can see by size. How epic were all of those sounds? There was chaos and now they're all chilled. Beverly, yeah, it almost does sound like a little bird chirp. It's quite something, isn't it? It's really epic when they all do it at the same time. It's oh, what's happening there? Are you guys still playing around? They got us all excited, and then all of a sudden they just, flew by onto the roads and just found this spot here, and it's almost like, okay, we ran too quickly. Just got maybe some brain rush or something like that. Too much blood flowing to their heads after that very quick run that they did, and now they're obviously exhausted again. Oh, it seems like Lauren has managed to find a better view of her cat, so let's head over to see if we can ID who it is.
Okay, let's stick our nose in. Oh no, he's moving again. He is stalking something. Look at that. Look. Looks like he's gonna pounce. Look at all here. It's really tricky to see, but he is. I think we might have been better where we were. Do you want me to reposition, Udi? Oh, the impala running along the damn wall. Look, look, look. Okay, they've stopped running, but they were running. I wonder if that's what's attracting his attention. Oh, look, they're all running. Run, run, run. Oh, he's up. He's up. We're not going to get a visual, but he's chasing something. He's chasing the impala. He's up the top. Oh, and look. No, there's people's heads in the way, but he's up. He's chasing those impala. I knew it. He ran all the way up the damn wall. What you gonna do now, boy? They've seen you. Or have they? My goodness, this is really tense. Shasha boy, they saw you. Do you know what I think is going to be nice is if we maybe quickly zip round now and get him on the damn wall. The impala have all ran. He's visible now. What do you think, Owen? Because there is a vehicle here, so let's just quickly zip round and try and get him from the other side. You ready? Hey, it's so nice to see a leopard sitting on top of a damn wall. Was very exciting. I knew it. I said to Owen, there's impala running. I knew he was looking at them, but it wasn't successful. You know that phrase, bite off more than you can chew? I think that's what happened there. There's the impala. You were making the great migration, weren't you? And you spotted a leopard. Oh, how terrible. How awful. Is he still there? Okay. Okay, there is another vehicle here, so I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to position. Oh, he's mobile. Nope, he's not. I take that back. You gotta love it when animals do that to you. Okay, there we go. Poor Shasha. Oh, okay, that didn't quite go to plan. There we go. It was a very impressive rock climb though, Shasha. It was very impressive. You just didn't quite get what you were after, but that's okay. It happens to the best of us. the skies are looking heavy. I'm hoping it holds off naturally. Look at your pink nose. It's actually way better for us, for him to be out in the open on the damn wall like this. What you gonna do now, boy? This will happen for leopards all the time. Unsuccessful and failed attempts. That was actually a very special sighting. So we're gonna stay here as long as we can. Let's hope the lightning holds off. Hello. How are you this fine morning? You look very dark, which tells me you're wet. He's just a youngster. Smelling us. Do you smell my coffee with almond milk? Elephants can be very reactive, especially if they've had a rough night. There's been lots of thunder and lots of lightning and torrential downpours. It can actually be very reactive in the morning because they've had a hard night. We see you. That's a young boy. Off he goes. I just wonder if he's not on his own. So because it's so thick, I really can't see anything. So what we're going to do is just drive really slowly and see if we can spot any other big grey bodies. Elephants know you're there long before you know they're there, but you just don't want to drive too close to them, which startles them. But they're not startled because they didn't know you were there. They can hear you coming from long. Yes, there are more. Can you get them from here, Dove? It's not ideal. What a perfect sight time.
Have you ever seen a hippo's tongue? I've lost my train of thought. Play. Yes, I know it was play, but I had a point and I forgot it. I got distracted. I find young hippos so funny. I can see you guys. Yeah, and it's through things like play fighting, for example, for young males and so on. When they play fight, they build up their abilities and how to do that, and all young animals will do it. I mean, you'll see lions doing it, you'll see leopard cubs climbing up trees, you'll see young elephants play fighting or putting up their trunks against one another and trying to push each other out of the way. So there's value in what they're doing, even if to us it doesn't seem like something particularly important, and it's just funny to watch them. They are building the skills that will hopefully help ensure their survival later on. Kevin, you were wondering if the hippos give birth in the water. They do. They give birth in the water, they mate in the water, and they can also nurse their young ones underwater. So they are very well adapted to the semi-aquatic lifestyle, and I say semi-aquatic because they'll spend most of their time in the water. It's the area where they feel safe, but they come out of the water at night to look for food. So they actually need also the land. The ones at the back are playing. This one's on the right. Like big hippos. They're play fighting now. Although there's quite a size difference. I want to say these are probably two young boys. No offense to the young boys out there, but I don't think the females will try to fight that way. Oh, getting serious now. Starting to get a little bit more active, the hippos, now that the sun's going down. Males in general of all the species tend to live slightly less than females, so generally hippos are believed to live until they're about 30 to 35, so the females will probably live a little bit longer, more towards 35 and upwards, and the males more towards 30. The reason for it is the males engage in a lot more fighting and a lot of more defending of territories than the females. The females in general tend to just do their own thing, and they don't spend as much time fighting other creatures of the same species. So the males tend to live slightly less than the females. Same in the case of the hippos. A dominant bull will try to hold on to his power and his territory or his pod for as long as possible without allowing or while fighting off any other potential suitors that might try to take over his pod. The little one going out. Oh, you had us fooled. I thought that you were gonna go out. We just want to see your tiny little legs. That is it. Oh, for such a young creature, it's very agile in the water. Clearly feels comfortable jumping up and down there. Shame she's looking up like, oh, please help me. It's quite a handful, this youngster. Samantha, I think that hippos are fully grown maybe when they're about 6 to 8 years old, depending if it's a male or a female. So they'll be sexually mature before then, and they won't be under the care of the mother at that age, but it takes them quite a while to become adults. So this little one still has got a very long life ahead of it and a very long time before we can actually call it a fully grown hippo, either a male or a female. Okay. I thought it tried getting on top of the mom's back. Maybe it can't reach. It's jumping or bouncing off the bottom and then just trying to get on top of the mom, but it can't. Trying a new angle. I think it's definitely trying to convince the mom of something naughty. Maybe it just wants to go on its mom's shoulders and the mother won't let it. Look, it's definitely trying. It really wants to go on top of the mom's back. And the mom's having none of it. Oh, it did it! It did it for a second! Where did you guys disappear onto? I think it's just playing games, just jumping from on top of the mother from one side to the next. It's actually very adorable. Yes! You did it! Yay! At long last! I wonder why it's keeping the nose in there. Oh! Oh! The mom's just like, no, I said no, I will not carry you. But why? Let's see if she stands back up just to make it slip down again. I think she's been carrying it the whole day and she just doesn't feel like it anymore. Are you gonna try again? Maybe it needs to come running. Two youngsters at the back are back at it, like fully grown hippos with big tusks. It's so hard to choose where to watch because as the ones are fighting in the back, then the little one is just like almost like doing hoops and loops to get on top of the mother. That's very funny. Almost look like a dolphin there, just trying to stick its head out of the water. It's almost like they've got the zoomies now. They're going into the crazy hour, you know, that I don't know if parents call it suicide hour, but it's that hour before, you know, when they get hyperactive just before they have to have dinner or go to sleep or something like that, and then they just go a little bit crazy. They start running around and doing all sorts of things. What a handful. Flipper. Yeah, maybe we should call it Flipper, Darren, you're right. Why are you yawning, ma'am? Even when you say you want to eat whatever this hippo has, well, whatever it is, it will certainly make you hyper. I thought for a second there when she opened its mouth that it was maybe going to try and jump on her mouth. That would have been quite funny, to be honest. It must also be very slippery to try and get on top of the mother, because they are also slippery themselves. And with all that water, I don't think it's not attempting to do the easiest of things. Macy, we call a group of hippos a pod or a raft. Oh, I think Mom's decided they're going. I wonder if she's gonna come onto the island. Kind of nudging it in that direction. It's shallower there, as you can see, because you can see more of the hippo than of the little one, but I'm not sure what her plans are right now. Maybe she's just like, fine, we'll play around here for a little bit, you're being a handful, or maybe this is a timeout area, I'm not sure yet.
This is a lovely little pan, actually. I just want to take a look at it. It's a pan that I often forget about. It's very close to the Mowati as well, which makes it quite accessible for animals. But if you look, there's quite a film of algae. And algae blooms for lots of reasons, probably lots of nutrients in there from animals defecating. Elephants, rhinos, hyenas. Pumps sort of extra nutrients into the water, and it's very stagnant. Other than the rains last night, there's sort of no inflow, no outflow. It's just a really stagnant water body. And once the oxygen gets removed, well, it looks like this. We're just going to sit for a moment or two, as there's some wonderful sounds around us right now. Isn't it lovely to just stop for a moment? We've done a lot of driving. It was nice just to take a break. So much action here, everyone.
How long has it been since Ribbon initially took the matriarch role?
Ribbon took over in 2019 November.
So 2 years.
Or was it 2020? It was 19. So she's been the matriarch for 2 years, guys. Something is really going on now. Gingarika's come right next to the car. She almost ran to the car to lie here. Look at this. Scratching her head. It's almost as if she feels a little bit of comfort in the car. And I can't explain what's happening here. Corky's up to no good. They've all got blood on their face. All of them. Even Intima. Sorry, Owen, I'm putting... Let's just look at Intima's ears here, because I don't think it's blood from a kill. They've either all had some sort of altercation with other hyenas, or there's a massive internal dispute going on. And when I saw them yesterday, I didn't want to think that. I didn't want to think there was anything going on, but Intima is not acting like Intima, everybody. We have just been sitting here watching Corks dominate Intima. How can that be? Oh, Corks, you're not looking so bonny. You're not a bonny wee lass anymore. Oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's watch. Corky's acting very dominant, guys. That tail has barely been down. And Angela, I'm really not sure. I don't want to speculate at this stage, but I do feel something has happened. Yesterday, I thought it was an internal dispute over possibly food. I mean, they were all just sleeping at Twin Dams, but no, this behaviour. I don't quite know what to think. And Tima's got blood, Corky's got blood, Hart's also got blood, and Hart doesn't seem to be bothering about anything, really. She's just gone to sleep next to Kingy. But Tima's the one that what is going on, girl? She looks skinny. I think she may have lost in Tambu, everyone. But we don't know that yet, we don't know that. I'm really quite shocked by this sighting, everyone. I think Julie is as well. I really can't believe what is actually going on. This is all stemming from Corky. Corks, are you causing trouble, girl? I was there for the matriarchal takeover. It happened in camp. Did you know that, Julie?
No, I did not.
It happened meters from my bedroom, and we were all in bed. I've never seen so many colleagues of mine in their pajamas and their underpants run out because it sounded like someone was being murdered. And it was the most horrible night in camp. Owen, were you there?
Yeah.
You were there. Everyone came down. James Henry's in his underpants. Everyone's in their pajamas. Jamie Patterson in her pajamas. And we really thought that someone was being murdered.
Yeah.
And no one died that night. Or no hyena went missing that night, should I say. So it wasn't a case of someone being... It was noises like that, but screaming. Lots of blood. So many hyenas running around camp in the dark. We couldn't see. It was intense. She's coming. Corks, girl. Corks, tell me what's going on. I mean, these injuries on the face, they'll heal. Our elbow's not looking great, but Corks has had an injury on her elbow, I think, that keeps opening up, but it's in Tima, and Tima's acting very, very submissive.
I hope you get better approach. You can take
Momo, I'm really not sure. I would like to think not, but naturally there was, I believe, a situation at Pridelands, and it all depends on the situation. It all depends on people's behaviour and how they are actually, not people's, individuals' behaviour and how they are acting to whatever is going on. It also depends on what happens to Ribbon. I'm not saying anything has happened to Ribbon, everyone. I really don't want to speculate. I want to go back on this footage and really if you slow-mo, you can really look at who's dominant at that moment. I mean, I think it's clear that Corky is dominating in Tima for some reason. So my question now is Ribbon. We've seen June. June is chill. June's been sunbathing and going to the spa every single day. So what's happened with Ribbon? I haven't seen her in a few days. And for her cubs at this stage, Momo, I don't know. But I've not seen Corky act like this since 2018, 2019. I love Corks, and she's had it tough. And this is the anniversary, just I think 2 days ago, of Darkmane attacking her. 3 years. She's not had it easy. She's an absolute survivor. And the thing with the hyenas, I love them all. Ribbon, Intima, Heart, June, Corks. Love them all. I couldn't possibly ever sort of choose between them, but they've got to settle their disputes, I guess. And something is going. I've never seen Intima act this submissive in a while. Her mum's a matriarch after all. Corky just won't settle. Heart's gone to sleep, Gingy's gone to sleep, and Tima's also resting. But Corky just, oh, okay. Now we're gonna settle. So she's chosen to settle over here, Odie, next to Heart and Gingy. And that's interesting. And Tima's on her own. But they're still together, if that makes sense. So if a Pride of Lions were to come, they would form a unit together. They're a clan. They would, fight off the lions together. But between these individuals, you've got a close relationship here between Heart and Corky forming, or has already been formed. And Gingy's obviously going to be with her mum. And then you've got Intima on her own here that screams every time Corky comes near. Everyone's got blood. And it doesn't look like blood from a kill. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you all think of this, especially you, Michael Fleetwood, and you, Chris Rogue. Can't wait to hear your interpretations. But I think at this stage, let's not try to speculate too much. Let's try to observe. I've been seeing June a lot with Sutu and Novella. So what is going on with Ribbon? Victor, very intense. Actually, the vocalizations from Intima were slightly horrifying.
They were. It made me feel
uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. She was scared.
She was scared.
Yes.
And this is the thing. We always get asked, would a hyena kill another hyena? They are the clan, but they've got to establish they've got to sort it out between themselves. And Corky here, she's not hurting Intima, but she's acting dominant over Intima, and Intima's bowing down at this stage. If Intima was to challenge her, then a fight may happen and it could get really aggressive. It could sort of result in death. But we get asked this question a lot, and I think it's quite fascinating that as long as everyone just adheres to what's going on, sticks to their rank. But Corks, you're looking you're looking haggard, is what we would say in Scotland. I don't know if that is a word used elsewhere, but we would say haggard. And isn't it amazing? I brought my Juma clan family tree with me today. I've been forgetting it. And they're just lying on Gowrie Main. I mean, we're on Gowrie Main right now, which is obviously not ideal in terms of traffic. Vehicles are going to come by, you guys. I know many of you love hyenas. I do speak to Chris and Michael a lot about hyenas, but I know many of you love them. And I think at this stage we'll just have to... But we did watch Ribbon assert herself over June the other day at the den. I think that was a handful of days ago. Ribbon was in the dentrance, the huge, and June came. There seems to be a nice bond between them right now, Ribbon and June stood over her to initiate a greeting ceremony, but Ribbon 100% asserted herself over June, and that was just a handful of days ago. Heart's just chilled. I wonder what's going on. I wonder what's happening at Ribbon's at the day. And oh. But please don't worry, everyone. We will figure it out. It sometimes takes time, and we will get to the bottom of it. It takes a lot of observations, and that's why sometimes you just have to sit, you just have to watch, otherwise.
Okay, so I think what we might do, there's a little darter that just popped up in front of the hippo. They're just looking for fish. I must say, you can always stop at a watering hole and there will be something to look at, something to entertain you. What a tough bird to follow, hey Odie? The darter. You just never know where it's gonna pop up. It's quite lovely. I went on a boat cruise about a week ago on the Blighted Dam and saw African finfoot. What a special bird to see. Oh, it's lovely to sit here, get this bit of a breeze and just listen to all the bird calls around you. Now it's been a quiet morning, but it has been quite a peaceful morning. We nearly had a leopard. But there's still lots of time. So many bird calls. See, is that hippo? Let me just check through binoculars if the eyes were actually closed. So yeah, they would have been out all night feeding. You can see those eyes are drooping a little bit every now and then. There we go. Closed and falling asleep. This is actually quite nice about the design about a hippo, or of a hippo. It's just all senses are above water while the body is below water. Now the male has popped up its head. You can just see the head a lot wider than the female that we were actually focused on. I'd say quite a rhythmical sound there when they come up and they breathe out like quite nice. But I think they'll just spend the entire day here staying away from the sunlight.
Look at that tail. She's definitely fascinated. She's intrigued by something here. Oh, now we've got more vultures. She's definitely listening to whatever's happening in the drainage line. I think with the amount of hyena activity we've had, maybe she managed to kill something in the drainage line. The hyenas managed to steal it. And now we are able to sit here and watch her as she's analyzing what's happening. Just a reminder, everybody, this beautiful girl, Tlalamba, is part of the Genesis collection. So if you want to find out more, you can head over to the WildEarth website and look for the NFTs tab. I think she is the prettiest. Not quite as pretty as Kuchava maybe, but so beautiful. I feel like Tlalamba has a different type of beauty around her. She's such a big female, and she's the perfect combination of muscle and grace. Isn't she lovely? Oh, you can see that whitetail from here. She is looking for everything and anything this morning, and she is being distracted by all of the noises, and this is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's for a leopard, it's part of the reason why they are so successful, because they pay so much attention to the smaller details, all the small movements, all the small noises, the smells. All of the predators will do it, but leopards in particular, because they're on their own, they know they can't rely on anyone else, and so from a very young age, they get used to listening to absolutely everything around them. So it's lovely to see her being so attentive and so careful about what she's listening to. She's pausing very regularly. And you can hear there's a bird alarm calling at her, so that got her tail going. And straight away, look at that change in behavior. The tail is up instead of down because of the alarm calling. So she's saying, all right, I know you've seen me. I'm moving. I'm not staying here. I'm not hunting. And this is giving animals the opportunity to see her approaching so that she can avoid any situation where she might accidentally get injured. You definitely don't want to be mobbed by a herd of elephants or something. So if there's alarm calling and she can raise her tail, everything can see her from a distance and there's no need to accidentally surprise someone. That being said, I think if she surprised a scrub hare right now, she'd probably go for it. She does look like she's eaten a little bit. Her stomach is not flat, but it is more difficult to tell because of the way her mammary glands are hanging. Her stomach hangs a bit lower naturally now from the cubs. But she definitely could eat again, I think. That bird is still alarm calling behind us. It's one of the cisticolas. Now you can see she's dropped her tail again, so this is conveying I'm far enough away from the alarm call. Oh, Nicanova, that would be wonderful. She's going to scent mark. It would be wonderful to meet Kuchava's cub. Oh, she didn't scent mark. Wow. Throwing me under the bus there. Yes, it would be so lovely to meet Kuchava's cub before I go. I'm very happy that I've gotten to meet Columbus cubs at least. I'd love to see them again, but I think any chance you get to meet a new leopard and spend some time with it, not much compares in this world to that feeling. Because it really is an honor to be able to spend time with a leopard like this. You know, leopards are very secretive, they're very quiet in their movements, and so if they don't want to be seen like the last few days, they won't be. They absolutely will not be seen if they don't want to be. So for her to be out in the open, allowing us to follow, is just, it's an absolute gift. This makes every day worth it. So the direction she's moving in, if she heads up to the right, she will still end up back at quarantine. If she goes left, she'll end up in the drainage line that's fed by Voyotella Dam. So it'll be interesting to see where she decides to go. If she keeps going straight down on this road, she's going to end up near Ribbon's Den site at Twin Dams. Don't know if she'll go that far though. I love it when she sits and listens. That's when she's really intent. She's focused. So she's listening back up towards quarantine again. So remember where we are. She wants to make sure there's nothing coming up from the drainage line, but also no disturbing sounds coming from quarantine, because the surrounding drainage lines around quarantine is where we think the cubs are still hidden. We haven't seen tracks of the cubs anywhere other than going into the one drainage line. We haven't seen them coming out, but Rexon found Lalamba's tracks on her own this morning, which means she's hidden the cubs somewhere. And with all the hyenas around, I think her kill was stolen, so she needs to find some more food. And that's probably why she's out on her own. And taking the chance, even though she's in the open like this, for any leopard, taking the chance to sit and listen is a really good combination of things. It's giving her information on who's around. It's also giving her information on potential hunting sites, potential prey around the area, and potential threats. So she's doing a combination of everything. She's the ultimate multitasker right now because she's even grooming while she's listening. She's also going to be smelling while she's grooming, so she can pick up on all of these different things. Incredible senses, very, very heightened senses. Yeah, she keeps looking over towards the drainage line in particular. I think her kill must have been in there somewhere. me. She's always had such bold geometric rosettes compared to the other leopards. Yes, they all have rosettes, but hers just seem to be very bold in terms of they're very thick, very close together. Looks like she's been designed by a perfect architect. I'd love to know what she's thinking at the moment. She's definitely hearing something that we can't. Maybe some movement in the drainage line if the hyenas have finished the carcass and they're moving up and down. She might be hearing that movement. Can you get any more beautiful? Veronique, we are also very happy to see her, and I'm glad that it has brought you joy seeing her this morning. It is always such a treat when you've been tracking her and you know she's in the area. And you've been tracking for a few days, and then you get to see her, and it just kind of reaffirms what you know about the bush, but also it reaffirms the condition she's in, and we get to have a little bit of a bonding moment with her and see what is happening in her life. It's a nice little window into the life of a leopard. Let's see if I can move. She's actually headed towards the drainage line. Unexpected twist. I was expecting her to go more towards quarantine. But I can see why she would choose this. There's a nice termite mound and some dead trees. And so I'm going to see if I can follow her towards the drainage line, see what we can find in there with her. Miss Tlalamba is now headed straight down towards the drainage line. She's paused again to have a listen. And her tail keeps moving ever so slightly right on the tip. And I think she might be assessing whether it's safe to go into the drainage line, but at the same time whether there's any potential food down here. So you can see she's using this long grass to her advantage. And just giving it a little evaluation while she's here. So the only thing I've seen so far moving on the other side of her has been a Swainson's spurfowl. Oh, she must have a fly bothering her. I haven't seen anything else, but this is a perfect area for duiker. Morgan and Frankie, you are 11 and 7. Thank you so much for your question. Tlalamba's cubs are just about 3 months old now, we think, about 12 weeks. So they are still very young and very cute and very small. And we don't know yet who they will grow up to be, but we can already see some nice personality traits coming through. And hopefully, well, it seems like one is like mom and one is like dad, actually. One cub seems to be a bit more like Tlalamba, a bit adventurous, outgoing. The other one, maybe a little bit more like Mulwati, a little bit more shy. So it seems like a pretty good split of leopard personalities at this stage. But I hope we can find them for you sometime soon in the next few days. And I feel like we have definitely got very lucky this morning to have ended with such a gorgeous girl. I'd love to know where she's going from here. Maybe there's a duiker she can hear somewhere. Oh my goodness, how perfect is she? Look at those ears in the grass. Everyone, I am so happy that you could join us this morning. That we could share Tlalamba with you and all of the little odds and ends, the shongololos and the birds. It's been an absolutely wonderful morning, and hopefully we'll be able to find her around here again this afternoon. At least we know where to start now. And we're definitely looking forward to having you with us for our safari this afternoon. Hopefully we can end with some more spots like we did this morning. How exciting. Perfect way to end our morning with you. Thanks everyone.
Okay, so we found a giraffe. Big male. They're quite nice just to sit here, and also you'll be able to hear the tail swishing every now and then. I think he's just gonna hopefully end up feeding right next to us. Actually looks so cool with the clouds behind the giraffe. He's eating from a guarri tree, but I think mostly what he might be after are the little fruits. I mean, I was complaining about ticks, but this guy is just littered in it. And all the folds. So now, try to turn around, follow the giraffe for a little while. Luckily, he feels like walking on the road. Very elegant way of walking. So quite quiet now when they walk.
We have literally just bumped into some ellies tearing apart the tree. But this is actually a good thing. The hyenas are somewhere here. So maybe between all of us we can listen, we can hear the ellie. But if we can pick up on some whoops or contact calls, that's going to be such a winner for us right now. I'm not off-roading after highly mobile hyenas in the dark. The little ones. Oh. Want to say hello. Hello. We don't have any lights on. Elephants can get irritated by lights. Have any lights on. This is solely infrared. And you guys listen and just enjoy this. Elephants on a hot summer's night. had to push that over right in front of our tree. Right in front of our car, sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Hey, girl. I'm so happy to see you right now. Yes, I am. I'm still going to stay silent, everyone, and just let you listen to this incredible sighting. I'm still here, everyone. I just think you don't need to hear my voice right now. This is just something that you can all enjoy.
They're still feeding, just literally anything they can find. They'll put into their mouth now, slowly chew, swallow and do it again. And you'll see often they don't even wait for the food to be done chewed and put another clump of grass or anything really into the mouth. So yeah, from this angle you can see the tusks, actually both of them facing quite a bit outwards and no thickness to it whatsoever. So of course that is just genetic. It's like Lauren was saying earlier about tuskers. If you don't have good genes in your family when it comes to teeth, then most likely you're not going to have very large teeth. Well, didn't want that branch, it was just in a way, so quickly broke it off. Took it away, and I'll start feeding underneath it again. It's wonderful being that strong. Now you can actually see the other youngster I was talking about, sorry Odie, it's a little bit to the right. So again, they're tough to see in this long grass. Imagine it's like the other one that's lying down, I can't see it at all, and it must be about 20 meters away from us. Luckily this one's still walking. You can see no tusks on it, so it's still under 2 years old. Even for elephants, for a youngster like that, it must be fun when the rain has come down, all the moisture's around. You know, it's not even following the mother so closely behind, not like the youngster you saw yesterday afternoon. There we go. Now going closer to mom. I think in a bit we'll reposition, see if we can get a better view of them. They seem to be moving closer to the road. Slowly move on, see where they go. Quite a moody day here.
The best find of today. Issue? Doesn't look rather comfortable, but we see you. Isn't this gorgeous? Are you just sunbathing, chilling, living the chill life? This is obviously a rock monitor. We definitely see the water monitors or the Nile monitors a lot more than we see the rock. But you can see this is where they hide. In little holes and crevices and trees. And then they just pop themselves out to sunbathe. You look very relaxed up there. I'm rather jealous. So stunning. Now they are actually incredible swimmers, the rocks. They're just not as... Sorry, this is a beautiful shot of the Ellie. We're also surrounded by Ellies. I don't know. Oh, this is also magical. I don't know what to talk about. These are the Ellies that popped up from the drainage. I thought I would be able to get them. Hello. Buffalo thorn, delish. The thorns and the hooks clearly don't put you off. The leaves are very nutritious. Even for humans. Sometimes I snack on them in camp when I'm walking by. Yeah, I can see why you like them. I tried to fry them up one time. There's a delicacy in the Maldives called telefai, and they use leaves of a specific tree, very small leaves, and they dry them out in the sun. Then they fry them in garlic, lemon, and salt and oil. And they're the best things in the world. I introduced Davi to them, and okay, someone's taking a tantrum. Anyway, I thought maybe I could do the same with buffalo thorn, but it didn't work. Everybody around the table, James Henry pretended to like them, but no, I know they were lying. Might get a 2-shot here, Odie. If the Ellie doesn't scare away our little lizard. There you go, there's a lizard. Look at the claws. Look at the two of them together. It's coming very close to the car now to get the vegetation. Oh, they're all coming. They're all here, Owen. You see the youngsters? Hazel, you're saying you love how chilled that rock monitor is. I know. Probably not got enough energy to do anything else, but so chilled. Hello, guys. You're gonna go to Gary Dam for a drink? I really think you should. You know, these elephants actually might scare away the monitor. They're right underneath them now. What a cool sighting. That was a bit dramatic. Very dramatic. No, not at all, Susan. Not at all. They have no need to. It's not anything that elephants need to pay attention to. Owen, 12 o'clock. Hello. Got an itchy leg. Beautiful girl. I can see you having a sniff of us. You're not very subtle, but that's okay. I hope I don't smell bad. But Susan, not at all. He's watching them. But they don't have to bother with his presence at all. They're all coming here. There's obviously some delicious grass. Underneath this quarry. Are you smelling us and you think that we can't see you because we can? Look at those nostrils, that's incredible. They're huge. Okay, that was just a chance to come and smell us. It was fake, pretending I'm going to eat. I'm going to hide behind this quarry. They won't see me, and I'm going to smell them. We've got more coming on. We've got a nice calf and mother in front. 12 o'clock. Some more coming. Welcome back live, everyone. As in live in today, right now. You're no longer watching the Ellies in the repeat. We are watching this big, huge bull walk across quarantine just behind the dam cam. Now, it's not dry. It's still spitting, but it's light enough now. The sort of rule is once it starts pooling in your car, it's really not a good idea to stay out. So we're out and about. Please do send in your questions. We can really talk about anything. And we are just going to sit at Gowrie Dam. Just see what comes by, see what happens. I will get the surprise for you this afternoon, I promise. And on our way back to camp, we drove past June and Comet, still together. He was following her very, very closely. So they're still courting on some level. I would really love to catch them mating. I know that sounds bizarre, but hyena mating is not something that is often seen. I'd really, really love to see it. Anyway, we did pass them together. A little update for you. And this bull is slowly getting ready to head up to quarantine. Isn't he magnificent? Riding out the rain. Maybe even enjoying it. Savannah, yes, we are back live. Unpredictable, but also predictable. On a level, summer brings rain. We're just not very well equipped for it here. We have a rain roof, but naturally, rain does not fall vertical. It blows in from all sides. But we do our best, but as soon as it starts to get too heavy, we do have to protect the equipment. Oh, and I think if I go forward a little bit, you might be able to work with this bull a little bit better. But yes, we are back live, and hopefully we will make it to the end of drive. There's a lot of... Oh, I forgot that flap was down. Okay, my plan is now not working because we have the flap down. My bad. We'll see if we can go all the way around. You also have to consider the terrain. The terrain's really important when it comes to rain as well. He's after those marulas. You've got to protect the land. So there's a lot of things to consider in this weather. It's not just a simple case of having a rain roof on. You work with this, Owen? I can't see from here if this is a female tree, but I am suspicious. that he's hoovering up some marulas here. Nadia, of course. Drinking and eating is a fundamental. Animals are not going to change their behavior. I think that's the most important thing. It is just rain, guys. It is just rain. Of course he's going to drink if he's thirsty. Elephants need to drink a lot of water. A lot of water to help their digestion, especially as bulls get older. As elephants in generally, but mostly the bulls get older, their digestive system sort of doesn't become, well, becomes a little bit weaker, and it's already only at about 40%. They only digest 40% of what they eat, and it lessens as they get older, so they need to drink a lot of water to sort of help digest that really fibrous, tough dung, the cellulose. So absolutely he will drink, he will eat, he will wander, he will interact, he will engage. He's an elephant. And it is just rain. It's just, we have to be careful because we have technology. Okay, I'm going to try and position now so we can sit at the dam. Enjoy whatever is happening around the dam and not get wet. But you're welcome to ask us anything. Anything. Even if it's personal. I'm happy to tell you my favorite pizza and what snacks I like to eat. Happy. Pizza's always a good topic when it's raining, that's for sure. Anyway, we're going to sit somewhere around this dam and we're going to send you guys over to Tessa.
It is good to be back out, everybody. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. We are pretty much picking up where we left off. We've done a little loop on quarantine. Sorry, I'm just waiting for some francolins. There we go. And I want to go and just check a little bit of the area of Philemon's cut line and then back up towards Sandy Patch, because the line tracks that we've found seem to be a little bit all over the place. There's some tracks going south, probably from Mohawk when he went past the dam last night. And then we found a separate set of tracks going towards Treehouse Dam. So I want to just come and check this western section a little bit and just see what else we can find. It has been a very lucky elephant morning so far. I know Lauren's got elephant. And as we were actually coming back earlier while we were packing up from the rain, we drove past a herd of elephants and I can see their tracks coming along here as well. So maybe they're also on this side. So you will be seeing a lens being wiped at the moment. You can imagine droplets on the screen. We've got to get rid of those. But it actually looks like maybe what happened in the storyline at some point was that there were all the beastern lines on the same area. Waikisha, yes, elephants will have thicker skin than rhinos. It's a good few centimeters thick. Not by that much, so it's not that much thicker than a rhino's, but it is definitely thicker. So of elephants, rhinos and hippos have the thinner skin, and then rhinos, and then elephants. And you can imagine it would be very important for them. They're not exactly a small animal that can just creep through the brush very easily without getting caught on things. So for them, when we see something and we think, okay, I can go underneath that, an elephant can't, it has to go through it. So that's one of the very important reasons why elephants have thicker skin. It also helps them a little bit with thermal control, a little bit of temperature control, and good protection from predators as well. But it actually is also very, very important in terms of those wrinkles that they find, which they have in the skin. That helps them stay cool a lot better than most other methods would. I do want to see some elephants this morning. I can see their tracks here on top of vehicle tracks. That's exciting. So I've been discovering, or reminding myself I should say, of a good few flower species recently. And I actually found a new one yesterday that I haven't seen before. It's probably been around this area for a while, but in terms of the other areas that I've worked, I've never seen it anywhere else. And it's actually a species of wild pea. So I'm going to try and find it for you. It's in the legume family. And it's this tiny, tiny, tiny little pink flower on, almost looks like a grass stalk with small leaves coming up. But I want to show you because it almost looks like the shape of an orchid. And I was very, very excited to find it yesterday and figure out what it was. So hopefully I can find some for you.
We're just taking a stop by Gowrie Dam. The skies are so very heavy. I have a funny feeling it's going to rain all day. But we are just going to listen. The birds are calling because the rain has eased up. Life is resuming. And even although it's grey, the dam, of course, is still beautiful. So we're just going to sit here and listen to the sounds of the bush. Isn't it just so peaceful? There's something very lovely about sitting by a dam.
Have a good day.
Okay, we are still bumbling around on Philemon's Kathlai and having a pretty good time. It's nice to be out again, have a breeze in your face. I've already had to take my glasses off, so I'm hoping I don't drive into anything. Don't worry, my eyes aren't that bad. But I think Gert always worries about it when I take my glasses off. I know Owen does.
Ja, men det var en
Carol, some areas would use drones to track animals. It actually depends on the species that you're looking for in the area that you're in. We definitely don't use drones for the Safari Live show. We do the work ourselves on foot or on the ground with all four tires. But some areas can use drones for tracking. I think it depends what you're trying to find and what your objective is. Why are you trying to use a drone to find it as opposed to using your skills? So this would help, for example, at night if you're needing to use thermal imaging to find something at night would be a lot easier than tracking, because tracking like this is virtually impossible at night. So I think it just depends on your objective. a lot of the time as well, remember, you've got to be mindful of, certain areas. For example, in the Kruger National Park itself, you're not allowed to use any form of drone, and that's because of rhino poaching. So it's something we've got to be very aware of, because of course when you've got a view out there, you might be looking for lions, but you don't really want anybody to be seeing where anything else is. So it is something to be mindful of. I've never used a drone for tracking, but I have seen some beautiful footage, especially places like the Delta, Katanga Delta in Botswana, where they use drones to get imagery of course, the water and the floodplains and the animals through it, and it makes for some really stunning photography, I know that much. I'm turning off to go towards Sandy Patch. Let's see what we can find. Greg, thank you for patience and being with us when we can wait for the rain to subside. And you are most welcome. We love being out here. It's why we're here. So as much as we can be out, that's what we'll be doing. There's some hyena tracks here, but they're from before the rain. But yes, we love being out, so any time that we can come out and endure the rain, we absolutely do. Those are some fresher tracks. That's not from before the rain. There are some lion tracks here, everybody. That's exciting, but heading straight towards the boundary on this side, and then some of them coming back on this side, so we've got a bit of a discord. Maybe some of them coming back to fetch the pride. If somebody was lagging. Yeah, and then some hyena tracks over. Okay, so I'm going to keep checking on this side. This is a very good area for flowers, so I'm hoping I find a few of those now that the rain is eased. But it sounds like Lauren is at the dam. Let's go have a look.
We were just looking at Mama Squirrel, everybody. So she is okay after her encounter with the monitor lizard. Oof, she was not happy with that monitor lizard. Do not mess with the mother. She went into her nest, but let's just give it a moment, because that is where we saw her pull the baby out. I don't know if they're back there now, but every day we come by, I'm always hoping that you're going to get a chance to see the little baby, because it's so small. But she has gone back inside for now. And this tree, honestly, I say this every time, I sound like a broken record, but it's so iconic in so many ways. There are so many organisms that utilize this tree, and it's a dead tree, a dead knobthorn, and it's always been that way since I've been here. I don't quite know what happened to it, but if you think of it as one habitat, I guess that's maybe not the right way to look at it, because you will find insects boring into the wood. You'll find birds perching on it. It's a perfect perching spot. Perfect perching spot. You'll find monitor lizards using it. Now we've got a squirrel using it as a nesting site. Terrapins. All sorts of organisms using the one tree, but for different reasons, if that makes sense. They're not all using it in the same way, but it's the one tree. Eggs, lots of eggs, I'm sure, will be laid inside there. One tree, multiple different habitats. Candy, you're asking how come the trees are not eaten by termites? most of the termites we have here, the most common species are macrotermes. And they build mounds. They are responsible for the huge, huge termite mounds we get here. And they're actually the backbone of this ecosystem. I don't think this ecosystem would flourish, survive, or thrive without termites. Remove the termites and you're in huge, huge trouble. And you get different species of termites. Some species of termites absolutely do feed on dead trees. You may even find there are termites inside of there. But the most common species we get here are the macrotermites, the mound builders, because they are so integral into this ecosystem. There's a lot of different species of termites, believe it or not. It's not just one single species when you're referring to termites, and they eat different things. But of course you do get some species, especially in America. I mean, they've got a terrible, terrible reputation in the US for inflicting more than $5 billion worth of property damage. That is not a small number, let's just say that. But although they can be considered pests, that's probably not the right way to look at them. They are remarkable insects, and they're a bit of a paradox themselves because they're strong enough to eat a house. You can destroy your house and all the wood in it. But their bodies are actually incredibly soft and very delicate and prone to drying out. They also need moisture. That's why you don't see termites in winter. They need the moisture of summer, believe it or not, because they're so sensitive to dehydration. But some species absolutely do eat trees. You're right in that. They're very good. They're one of the few species actually that can digest cellulose. Digest it and sort of process it directly. And that's why they can eat wood. They're excellent at it. And of course that's how rumination has evolved in the antelopes, to break down cellulose. But termites, they don't ruminate. They're just jolly good at breaking down cellulose. But there absolutely could be termites in there. I don't know if it's the right environment for them above water. Come on, little squirrel. We are all waiting for you. Could go a long time. They are small after all. They estimate about the size of an American football, size and shape, about 7 years. So these huge mounds that we see, which start underground, remember, but the part that we can see is like an iceberg. The part that we can see that sticks out of the ground are years and years, decades, if not centuries. Takes them a long time because they are so small, but they're just remarkable at it. They are responsible for a lot of the topography in this environment. I love, love, love termites. I get very excited when I see them. And you get termites that actually live in the mud and burrow tunnels. You get termites that create mounds. And you also get termites that sort of need dry, dead wood. There's lots and lots of different species of termites. But I think we're just going to continue to sit here a little bit longer around the dam.
Yes, termites are definitely one of my favorite snacks. They're very peppery in flavor, but high in protein. I'm kidding, everybody. I don't snack on termites for fun. But they are very high in protein and they do have a slightly peppery taste. Definitely not the snack of the day. Although some of my favorite animals love termites too. Pangolins, aardvarks, all these wonderful things. I am actually following some elephant tracks at the moment. It looks like it might have been a very big bull that's been walking down the road. And I'm wondering if he's maybe in that area of Impala Plains, the open area. It seems like that is the way that he's going, and there's quite a lot of hyena tracks around, so I'm not sure if they've been following the lions maybe, because this is the area where I heard the first lion calls coming from, was actually this northwestern section, and then getting closer and closer. It definitely seems like there was a lot of activity during the night last night. I'm still looking for the lovely little wild pea that I found. No, I've never seen an interaction at all between the Talamatis and the Nkuhumas. The only interaction with lions that I've seen here between different lions was actually my first time meeting the Talamatis. It was the first time that I'd seen any lions on Djuma. And the S8 or the Mbali male was stalking up to them while Dark Mane and the Talamati Pride with the sub-adults were all feeding on a buffalo. And I saw that interaction play out. It was myself and actually Mpo on camera, so good name choice. And we could see the male coming from a distance, but the lions hadn't noticed him. And that was still one of the nicest lion sightings I've ever had, because we could see it playing out and there's this massive anticipation of what was going to happen. And I thought with so many lions and being on a kill that they might, at least try and fight him off, but there was no chance. Dark Mane moved faster than I think he's moved since. He ran so quickly he left the rest of the pride in the dust. And then of course with sub-adult males there, they also scattered because they're not going to be tolerated by the Mbali male either. So it was actually quite an interesting sighting. But I remember that playing out. I can see it like a replaying movie in my head. Alright, so I do actually want to just stop here and listen for a little bit. So I've just arrived at Impala Plains. It's a beautiful big open clearing. And I can see there is more rain coming in the distance, but it is so beautiful here. I've always had very good luck on Impala Plains and Impala Road. It seems like there's a lot of tracks in this area, so I'm sure the predators were moving through here last night. Let's just have a listen in case we can hear anything, and also just appreciate some of these bird calls. Look at that mist in the distance. You can definitely see the rain is still coming down. Okay, I'm not hearing any, other than the sounds of my stomach, I'm not hearing anything that sounds like a lion. Oh, Dave, I'm so happy that you found this peaceful and that you enjoy listening to the bird calls. I think we should start with a once a drive bird call challenge. I think that would be a lot of fun. Every day I'll test a different bird call and you can all guess and see which one it is. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm going to drive for a little bit and think about which bird call I want to play, but I think I'm going to do that with you just now. Think of a bird call, I'm going to play it, and then we'll have some guesses as to which bird call it might be. Good idea. Okay, I'm headed to one of my favorite flowery sections now, going up along Impala Road. So I'm going to try and find as many for you as I can, and hopefully I get lucky.
It's actually quite addictive just sitting watching the comings and goings at a dam. It's never quiet. And the more you sit here, the more you can see. Obviously, we're working with very low light today, but It's amazing what you can actually start to see once you give your eyes a little bit of time. So we're just going to sit here for a few moments and watch all the hubbub around the dam. Isn't it just so peaceful? It turned out to be such a lovely morning after all.
Oh, this road is getting a little bit slippery, so I think we might have to not do this road for the next few days. I think I'm going to call it on this road. You can imagine being a bit of a seep line. You want to try and avoid these areas. We're not off-roading at the moment, but where there is a seep line, the soil holds a little bit more moisture, so I think Impala Road is going to have to be closed for a few days, which is good for the road. It's sad for me. I love this road. I'm just having a look at what we can find along here. I think it's probably a pretty good time to do the bird call challenge. I don't know if anybody is keen to give it a go, but I think it's a good time. And just to give you a bit of background, I've chosen a bird call after chatting with Gert. And I want to do Gert's favorite bird call. And it's got a story behind it. It's because when he goes camping in the mountains, he hears a lot of these birds. And so for him, it brings back that very happy memory of going camping. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. If you've got a favorite place in the world and there's specific smells and sounds that you associate with it, it always brings back that happy nostalgia feeling. So I think it's probably a good time. I'm going to stop here because I can actually hear a few birds calling. Oh, and there's a European roller that we can watch while we do it. Sitting perched over the road. So I can see a European roller over the road. Okay, hope everybody's ready. I'm going to play the bird call. If you didn't hear it properly, listen again now. Slightly different version of the call. Okay, so that was two kind of little repeats of the same bird call, slightly louder on the second one. And I'm going to give you a few minutes just to think about what it might be. So bear in mind you're camping along the edge of the mountains. Oh, wonderful. I can actually picture it in my mind. Okay, while you think about what it might be, or even if you don't know the species, maybe you think it's a specific type of bird. The directors are telling me it didn't even sound like a bird, so they don't know what it was. It can be very confusing, but if you even have a general idea of maybe the family, you can send those answers in too. Oh, this poor European roller is looking a little bit wet and bedraggled. It's still looking very elegant up on the branch, but I think perching over the road is a pretty good idea on a day like today, because anything that moves, they'll be able to see it a lot easier and they won't get as wet. So if it does find something like a dung beetle or even a tok-toki beetle, a tenebrionid, it can swoop down into the road and not get as wet as it would if it was flying in between the grass. Ooh, it sounds like Lauren has got Mama Squirrel. So while you think of some answers and send them in, let's head over and see what Mama Squirrel is up to.
She's out. No, she's very out and active. It's just so lovely being able to identify the same squirrel. Really, we can do it in camp, obviously, but I think on drives, I've not been able to do that. They are social, they are territorial, and of course we know this one has offspring. And I know that many of you were asking me, is she okay after in her encounter with the water monitor, which was a really fascinating interaction, I must say. And lo and behold, she's absolutely fine. And I mentioned this the other day, but you have to think about what squirrels encounter in their daily life on a daily basis, because they are arboreal. They spend a lot of their time in the trees, but also on the ground. They're small. They can get into all sorts of nooks and crannies. But you have to really think about what they encounter. I mean, even on this tree alone, lots of birds, even birds of prey, lizards, potentially snakes, insects that may bite or even sting. Squirrels have to be nimble, they have to be fast, they have to be athletic. Elephants that maybe want to knock them out the way to get the marulas. They encounter a lot in their daily basis, and I think that's maybe overlooked, and that's why they are so feisty. Can you still see her, Owen? Oh, I can't see her anymore. But she just goes about her life on the tree. It's wonderful. I remember sitting on this tree doing many a bushwalk. Kelly, you're so happy to see Mama Squirrel. Me too. Me too. We've been quite patient, just because it would be such a lovely, different sighting to see her carrying her offspring in her mouth. But sadly, it's not really going our way. But I really hope the rain eases off. I want to be in Chitwa this afternoon, 100%. So we just need to hope that by the time the afternoon rolls around, the rain will have just eased off a little bit for all of us. But we are going to continue to sit by Gowrie Dam a little bit longer. Still sitting by the dam, listening, smelling, and mostly staying dry. It's raining, but we've got our back to the rain. So we're winning on that front. There's always a lot happening. The animals are still there. Just got to look a little bit harder. Here we are just going to sit here for a moment or two and listen to the sounds of the bush. so lovely to sit and watch this squirrel. I think she's hungry.
I have got the best of both worlds going on here at the moment. I've got some mammals, a beautiful little implausibility of wildebeest, with one young calf and one yearling, the one at the back right. And I'm very lucky because I've also got a sea of flowers right next to the vehicle if these impalas move off. So I can do a little bit of both. So I don't know if we have any guesses for what the bird call was. If you need me to play it again, let me know. Leader SA, I think that'll be the best answer of the whole day, a baboon bird. Okay, I'm going to bank that. It's not quite right, but I'm going to bank that in my memory forever. I like that one a lot. I can actually picture it if you listen to the call a little bit. Oh my goodness. Oh, shame. They are looking a bit nervous today. I've got some other flowers to look at though. We've got some wild foxgloves. Murphy cat, European roller, they do have a fairly abrasive call, but I feel like a roller's call is actually not altogether that pretty. The bird that I'm thinking of is a little bit bigger, also predatory, maybe on a bigger scale though. Hello little wildebeest family. Shame, I think they're trying to stay safe up here on Sandy Patch, but it's not very good for cover. Ah, Margold, you got it. It's an African wood owl. This is Gert's favorite bird call. And you can definitely imagine why if you're camping in a tent at night and there's these wood owls calling around you and all of these wonderful things. Can you imagine how stunning it would be to be in the tent and you're hearing this in the background in the mountains? I love owl calls, so it's always been one of my favorite things to listen to. My mom's favorite is an African scops owl. I think my favorite is probably, I think, a pearl-spotted owlet. That's my favorite owl call. Our wildebeest have decided to leave us, but we've got a sea of flowers where we are because we're in a nice little marshy area. And so we've got a large variety. And one of my favorites is a wild foxglove. I think it's because I studied entomology, so insects, the relationship that they have with plants has always been fascinating to me. And this is one of those species that's actually adapted to its pollinators. The shape of the flower changed to face downwards and have that very long tube so that when bees go in, their fuzzy little bodies catch all of the pollen because they have to rub against the pollen, which is on the top of the flower on the inside. Their body wipes against it, and then as they go from foxglove to foxglove, even with flies and things like that, they'll transport the pollen. And I've always loved the color of a wild foxglove. Very pretty lilac. Lilac was my favorite color growing up. But it has been, I think, quite an unusual morning in general. I think we've had some really strange things this morning. Oh, forest walnut, I think. Yes, it has been a really beautiful morning. Thank you for joining us. And I think I'm very happy that we got to come out after the rain. We were a bit worried that we wouldn't get back out, but I'm glad we got to share it with you. Please join us again this afternoon. Hopefully the weather holds up and we'll be able to come out and share the magic with you again.